Okay, so today we will be discussing about idioms. So when we look at the marking criteria and when we see there are four sections that actually help examiner to assess our level of English, which are fluency, our vocabulary, our grammar, and yeah. So if we see the vocabulary section, lexical resources come under the vocabulary section. And if we read this carefully, first of all, it says uses vocabulary with full flexibility and precision in all topics. Look at the second one, uses idiomatic language naturally and accurately. So if you look at this criteria, this one is for band 8, this one is for band 7, and this one is for band 6. In all these, the second point or third point is about idiomatic language. So idioms are important. Why? Because native English speaker usually use idioms. We also use idioms in our native language. And yeah, therefore they're really important. Let's look at band 7 criteria. Wide range of vocabulary resources and readily flexibly convey precise meaning, use less common idiomatic vocabulary. You see, check the difference between them. In band 8, it says uses idiomatic language naturally. Like you don't force idiom. They just look very natural when you speak because they match with the context. What are you saying and whether the use is appropriate or not. So in band 8, when a speaker say an idiom, it doesn't feel forced, it feels very natural. However, if you look at band 7, they uses less common idioms. For example, like cat and dogs, it is raining cat and dogs. It is used to explain when it rains heavily. This is, I guess, pretty old idiom. Nobody uses it these days. So don't use the idioms which are not very natural and they are not conversational. People usually don't use them. So try to use the idioms which are less common. On okay. Next is vocabulary, use of vocabulary skillfully with occasional inaccuracies. Paraphrase the question. Okay. Uses vocabulary resources, flexibility to discuss a variety of topics, uses some less common and idiomatic. So try to say the idiom in a way that sounds natural and you don't feel them forced. They should be according to the context in which you are saying things. Okay. So what are idioms? Idioms basically is a group of words or phrase to a common usage and has a meaning that is not clear from the words themselves. So idiom is basically when we say a phrase or group of words, we need to explain them or they should have a proper meaning. Meaning, for example, if I say something like this, we are on the same boat. Like for example, a participant comes in this session and tells me that it is very difficult for me to say an idiom while speaking. And if I feel the same, I can say that, oh my God, we are on the same board. It doesn't mean that we are right now on the board because there are two kind of meanings of idioms. One is literal and the other is metaphorical. Literal mean the normal meaning, the usual meaning of a word. So when we are thinking of a board, we think, yeah, we are actually riding in a board and in the middle of a sea. That is the literal meaning. However, most of the time, these idioms convey metaphorical meaning. So, what metaphorical meaning is? It describes the words or things as symbols or something else. It's not actually the same thing. When I said we're in the same boat, I was telling the other person that we are in the same situation. I can understand what you're thinking, what you're going through, and I'm also going through the same difficulty or same problem. So, idiom, so therefore, try to use idiom that you know you know where you can use them, you know in which context they can look appropriate, and you practice them. Do not learn a list of idiom and just bombard on in your speech. And I remember there was an example. I did an example in like 4 to 5 days earlier where there was a paragraph in which there were idioms in every sentences, and it looks so bad. Don't force idiom. Just try to learn the common natural idioms and learn the context in which they are usually used, and try to mimic or copy the way natural speakers do. Okay, so let's see an example of an idiom. If someone is high as a kite, it doesn't actually mean they are flying. It means they are on drugs. You see, the meaning, literal meaning, is totally opposite to the metaphorical meaning. So, high on a kite doesn't mean somebody is very high or maybe somebody is flying. It means they are on drugs. So, this is actually opposite to the literal meaning. So high literally means located above the earth, but metaphorically it doesn't mean high. It means you have taken drugs and you're feeling their effects. So we can say this when we're describing the young generation or maybe the bad impacts of drugs, things like that. So there we can use this idiom, but we should know the context, the metaphorical meaning, and we should know how it is usually used. So without knowing the context, without knowing how to use it in an appropriate way, do not use them. I know if you don't use them, it will impact your score. For sure, it will impact. But if you use it in a wrong way, then it will have a negative impact, which is which you shouldn't, do that. Next, should I? Where is that? Wait a minute. Should I just memorize lots of them? As I said earlier, do not memorize idioms because people think if I learn a lot of idioms, then I will use them in the test and they will help me to get a very high score. This is a lie. Don't do that. Examiners are trained to spot the people who are trying to use idiom that are inappropriate. So you should know that the correct usage of idiom depends on the context. If you know the context, you're using them correctly, then it's better to use them. However, if you don't know the context and you're just throwing idiom on the face of examiner, then it will be very bad and you'll get only 5 bands. So try to use them in an appropriate way. How do I use them effectively? So if you want to use idioms, you should know the context. If you're 100% sure about the context, where they can be used, or maybe you have heard somewhere, or maybe you were listening to a podcast or TV show where they use idiom in an appropriate way, and now you know the context where they are being used, then you should try to speak it at home, practice, then produce them on the actual test day. Do not force them. Next, okay, so we will see some common idioms that you can use and they are naturally used by native speakers. So first of all, it is over the moon. When do we use over the moon? When we want to say something like we are so enthusiastic, so happy, extremely pleased, you can use the word over the moon. So I have an example here as well. I was over the moon when I passed my speaking test. So over the moon here explains that you were extremely happy. Next is once in a blue moon. Once in a blue moon means something that happens very rare. It doesn't happen every day, so it happens very rare. The example is a student will get a band 9 in IELTS writing test once in a blue moon. Yes, we haven't seen people getting band 9 in IELTS writing. It's not common, it's very rare. I guess like out of 100, only 0.5 or 1 people may get 9 band. It is very rare. This doesn't happen every day. Okay, a piece of cake, something very easy. So Getting a band 6 in speaking test will be a piece of cake because your level of English is good. So if you want to increase your level of English, try to learn hard. So you can use it anywhere where you want to explain something that is very easy. So a piece of cake is something that is very easy to describe. Next is a drop in the ocean. This is very, I would say, you can compare it like when you listen to this a drop in the ocean, it means something very little as compared to a bigger thing. So if you compare a drop with the ocean, it's very, usual or natural to think about it. A very small part of something much bigger. If something is very much bigger and you're just thinking or talking about very small part of it, then you can say it like this: a drop in the ocean. The example here is just learning idiom is a drop in the ocean when it comes to preparing for speaking test. Yes, the idiom learning is not the whole test. It is the part, a very small part of your speaking test that you should focus on. So a drop in the ocean tells you a very small portion of something very large. Okay, we all are familiar with this one. Action speaks louder than words. We use it daily, I guess. Everybody knows this. It is better to actually do something than just talk about it. Yes. So, yeah, you can say it like this. Lots of people have great business ideas but do nothing about them. Then you say this: action speaks louder than word. Just do it. So here you can understand from the context that this thing means you should better do it. Don't just speak about it, just do it. Okay. So the next one is back to the drawing boards. So when you have failed multiple times, like for, I can take my example. I'm not good at programming. And for example, I'm just trying too hard, and every time the result of the program is wrong, and I'm just fed up. And then I go back, no matter how many times I made the mistake, and I'm going back to it. Then we use this idiom back to the drawing board when you attempted to do something but failed and have to try again. So in this situation or scenario, you will use this particular idiom. For example, I got 4.5 in reading. Oh well, back to the drawing board. So I just said it in the last. You can say how you can use this particular idiom. First of all, you said this particular thing happened in a bad way, and now you're going back. So you will say this phrase like this: I got 4.5 in reading. Oh well, back to the drawing board means you're going back, you're trying again. Put all your eggs in a basket. So if you say you put all your eggs in one basket, it means you just put all the efforts, all the money only into one thing. You're not trying every other thing. You're just putting all your energy, your effort, your money to only one thing. So when you see this kind of context, try to use this idiom: put all your eggs in one basket. So an example can be like this: not put all your eggs in one basket. You should apply to lots of different universities. Yeah, there are many students who just put all their efforts and energy and money to applying to only one university. So if you want to advise that student, you can say that don't put all your eggs in one basket. You should apply to lots of different universities. So I hope you understand the context of this particular idiom. Next is the in thing. We say in Urdu a lot. What is in these days? What is the in thing? It is something that is fashionable and happening these days. So you can say it like this: one, the new iPhone is really the in thing at the moment. So in thing is something fashionable that's happening these days. Okay, off the top of my head. Okay. I hope it's visible to others as well. Let me just see. Okay. Yeah. So this idiom is off the top of my head. It is something just that comes to your mind without even thinking about it. If you ask me about some writer's name, I will just say the names of the writers that comes to my mind quickly. I'm not just thinking a lot. Then I will say off the top of my head. So the example is off the top of my head, I would say about two or three. For example, I can take the example of writers again. If you ask me, tell me the name of the writers you really like reading about. So I would say, off the top of my head, I would say Dr. Jeffrey Lang. Yeah, he is one of the best writers I know. So in this way, you can tell people the first thing that come to your mind without putting any stress about thinking too long. So the next is go the extra mile. When you put extra effort, then it is required, you go the extra mile. You do something much more than it is required. So I decided to go the extra mile and move to England to really perfect my English. Yeah, that's funny. So you can practice English speaking, writing, or reading anywhere in the world. And if you see somebody who just moved to England only to practice or perfect the English, it means that person did some extra effort which was not required. He could have learned English writing, speaking, or reading at home by just, helping, taking help from people online. So if a person just do something that is extra, not required, you can say to that person, you to go the extra mile. Or you can say it for yourself as well. If you do something that, if you put a lot of effort to something that is not required, you can use it there in that scene. Okay, miss the boat. It's very obvious from the word miss the boat. Miss the boat means miss an opportunity. Like I missed the boat. Yeah, I can say that I sent my application in late and I think I missed the boat. Means I missed the opportunity. So you can use it in your case as well, where you see you have missed the opportunity, or you see there are other peoples in your surrounding who have missed the opportunity and you want to tell them in a better way, then you can use this idiom to explain that they have missed the opportunity. Okay, next is costs an arm and a leg, something that is really expensive. So I think it's not very common. Yeah, people usually use it. I haven't heard it a lot, but yeah. Those shoes must have cost an arm and a leg. Next is sit on the fence. It is common. Sit on the fence is used to say about the things that you're when you're being very indecisive and you don't know whether to choose this or that, and you're in the dilemma whether I should choose this particular thing or that thing, then you can say that sit on the fence. You can take it take an example like this. For example, if we apply it to IELTS, we can use anybody. Like we can use British Council or maybe the other one which is IDP. So if you don't know which one to decide whether you should go for IDP or British Council, you will think like this, like I'm it is very difficult to decide and I'm being very indecisive. So you will say that I have been thinking about applying to IELTS, but I don't know which board should I choose. I will have to sit on the fence, meaning I will have to decide because right now I'm being very indecisive. So when you're indecisive, you don't know which part or which thing you should try or choose, try to say this particular idiom, sit on the fence. Okay. So these are some past topics. These are related to part one. So in part one, examiner may ask you multiple questions, but I have just gathered some topics which are very common, and I have just written the number of times they have appeared in the exam, in the past exam. So first of all, the television topic appeared 3 times. So I have not written the particular questions that the examiner may ask you, but the topic. So now you should know what a TV is, how often do you watch TV, and anything that surrounds television. So try to cover this topic in a 360-degree, try to cover each and every angle of television. Next is about friends, your country, clothes, what do you do in your free time, family, visitors. These are the common topics, and you can see that they have appeared multiple times. The family thing appeared 4 times. Hometown, yeah, it's very famous. Like these days, if I talk about the example of, yeah, ma'am Mariam, she also got this question, and her test was on right 17 February, and she got this question: talk about your hometown, or what is your hometown look like, what does your hometown look like, or anything like that. So try to cover the vocabulary related to your hometown. How does it look like, why you like it, whether you will live here in the future. So try to cover hometown with a 360-degree angle. Next is about films, work. Yeah, it is also very common. Do you work or study? And if you work, they will bombard you question regarding work. Do you like it or not? Whether you will like to switch in the future. So questions like this are pretty common. Try to learn vocabulary and idioms that are related to these common topics. Next is about study, reading. Okay. Next is a little practice to warm up, because when I ask you people questions, sometimes you people, this happens, I have seen this. So if I ask you the question one, you will feel nervous. However, if we go on and on, you become really relaxed and you produce a very good answer. So try to warm yourself up, and we will be doing this right now. So if I have demonstrated an example here. So first of all, I will start the sentence like this: yesterday I went to the market and something strange happened. I will just stop there. The next person will come and say, I saw our dog running in the street, and he will stop. The next one will make a story. The dog was carrying a shoe. And the next participant will say, suddenly everyone started laughing. You see, with the help of 3 to 4 students, the story ended like a very good story, and you just made a story. And it's fun doing that. If you people are comfortable, we can do it right now. Let me just ask you whether you will participate or not, or we can move on. Raise your hands if you people like to participate in this activity or not. Okay, Sir Abdul Mateen, you're ready. Basically, if you see, I will need like 3 to 4 people. Ma'am Zuberia, will you like to participate? Sir Shamsul Hassan, Sir Kudrat Khan. Because if you all will not participate, we will not be able to make a story. 2 people cannot make a story. Okay, no worries. Sir Kudrat Khan is also participating. And
let's do it.
Ma'am Zavedi is also present. Okay. So I will tell you people, do not copy this. You have to make your own story. Okay. So I will go first, then Sir Abdul Mateen, then Ma'am Javeria, and then Sir Kudrat Khan. Are you people ready? Should I start it now?
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Okay. So yesterday I went to the market and something strange happened.
Should I repeat after you, madam? I
No,
saw a
no, no,
dog.
no, no, no. Try to make your own story. Like I said, yesterday I went to the market and
Okay,
something strange happened, and you will make your own story. What happened next? Just say anything.
okay. There was a huge traffic jam in this in the on the road?
Okay, ma'am, Javeria.
But in all that traffic jam, uh, bike suddenly came and just went through all of it without bothering anything.
Mm-hmm. Sir Kudrat. If you're not comfortable, Sir Abdul Mateen, you can complete this.
Okay, and the traffic jam was due to the prime time of traffic or school of time.
Okay. So yeah, it was a story. How we made the story, we just, one person said a first line, second said the other, and third and fourth. So in this way, we can make our story. It was the activity was only. Wait a minute. Where is that? No, no worries. It's okay, sir. Okay. So the activity was only done to make you people warm up a little to know whether you can speak or not. So I wasn't judging anybody and we were just having an activity. Let's move on. Come on. Okay. So yeah. So if you go to an exam, for example, let's say you have an exam, speaking exam tomorrow, and you do not practice speaking, you just don't listen to speak, you just don't listen to English, you just don't speak English, you don't read English, you don't write English, what will happen? You will end up getting very bad result. Why? Because if our brain is working in our native language, it will be very difficult to switch in English straight away. Yes, it happens to us. Like I did this warm-up activity to tell you people how important it is to just say anything in English before appearing in the actual exam. So there are many good candidates. For example, if I talk about myself, I appear in the exam like after 2 days, and I just didn't say anything in English. I didn't listen anything in English. I didn't write or read. I will do very bad. I will perform very bad in the actual exam because I did not surround myself with English speaking, reading, writing, and yes. So if you just don't surround yourself with English, you are going to perform very badly because no matter how much good English you have, no matter how much good vocabulary, your fluency, and yeah, your lexical resources or idioms you have learned, and you are not just practicing before the actual exam, then you are going to do it very badly. So not stay quiet, do not speak your native language, do not listen to anybody in your native language. Try to converse with people in English, try to listen to English as much as you can, try to read or write English. In this way you will be able to perform really well in the real exam. So solution is stop speaking your first language for at least 24 hours before the test. Not say anything in Urdu, just speak English. Next is, okay, what you should do is listening. Listen to podcasts, a radio, songs, TV, YouTube, IELTS practice test, anything. You can listen to anything, but it should be in English. And reading, do read something like news, blogs, magazines, novels. You can read IELTS practice test as well. Yeah, do speak, find friends online, as I have told you people about the Discord channel. Do go there and talk to people, find friends online, talk to classmates, maybe Facebook groups or anything or anybody that can help you to make your speaking better. Just go to them and try speaking. Next, write a blog or maybe a comment on blog, news sites, anything. Practice, you can practice English writing test, or maybe just find a sample answer and go through the answer and compare your answer with your own, or maybe journal is meaning you can just write your thoughts. Maybe you're feeling very nervous or anything, just write. So when you people surround yourself with English 24 hours before the actual exam, you people will actually get really good bands. Because if you don't practice, you will not be able to get good bands because our brain is wired this way. Our brain doesn't switch to different languages quickly. It requires some warm up. So if you don't warm up, it will be very difficult to produce good results. And I will advise you people one more thing. For example, if you go to your center and let's say it's the tomorrow and you go to the center, try to speak to other candidates which are sitting in your vicinity or in your surrounding. Try to converse with them in English. Just say anything, greeting, say hello, hi, or anything, or maybe ask them whether they are prepared or not. So, in this way, your brain will understand and your brain will be able to communicate in English in a better way. That's all from my side. If anybody is willing to take a mock test, raise your hand. And yeah, otherwise, we will end the meeting. Okay, Sir Abdul Mateen. Wait a minute. I will just find some part one questions for you. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Just a minute. So, okay.
Well, can you please let me know how much time it will take, Javeria ma'am or Khizra? Sorry.
Yes. Are you ready?
Yeah, I am ready, Khizra madam. Can you please
Okay.
let me know how much time it will take?
I am just going to ask you a question. Okay, sir. Are you a happy person?
Yeah, I am on and off happy person.
Okay. What usually makes you happy or unhappy?
Fulfilling or achieving my goals for the day makes me happy, and when I am not able to do that, that makes me unhappy.
Mm-hmm. Does the weather ever affect how you feel?
Yeah, actually, I am inclined to cold weather. That's why in high temperature, I can't do I can't do any task properly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What makes you smile?
Anything um, beautiful and pleasure makes me pleasure.
Okay. Hmm. Do you think people in your country are generally happy people?
Generally speaking, not because the major sector of our population is below the poverty line. I don't think so. They will be happy, most of the people.
Okay. So that's the end of part one. I will give you some feedback and okay.
Thank you.
So first of all, the length of your answers was a little. Let's talk about something positive first. Yeah.
Okay.
So you had good pronunciation. I could understand every word you said. I understood everything, and yeah. There were no filler words. You were able to give your answer in a coherent way. However, I have felt one thing, that your answers were pretty small. Meaning, when you answered the first question, it was like a one sentence. So in part one, try to give answers which are like 20 to 30 seconds long. It is advisable to give answers which are 25 to 30 seconds long. Because when we speak
Okay.
at length, examiner knows what is the level of English do we have. So if you just give one line answer, examiner cannot assess the level of grammar, vocabulary, or fluency you have. So try to
Okay.
expand your answers. How
Thank
you
you.
can
Good to
do
know
that?
that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in the last question, when you gave the answer, you gave the answer with an example, you gave the reason, right? So in this way,
Yeah.
you can expand your answer. So that was something you did in the last question. What you can do
O-
is, instead of giving your opinion, you can just give examples and attach your opinion, or maybe attach some feeling to your answers. So in this way you
Sure.
will be able to expand them. And there were, I would say, very fewer minor grammar mistakes where you said, I think I couldn't write it, any beautiful or anything. Yeah, there was a little grammar mistake, I couldn't write it, sorry. But try
Okay.
to expand your answers, that will help you a lot. And if you're willing to take mock test for part 2 as well, we can do that.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Okay. So are you aware, share the slides which you have been. Yeah, sure, sir. I will surely share them, inshallah. I will update the sheet. You will get all the slides. No worries. Okay, sir. Are you aware of the criteria of part 2? You will get 1 minute to uh, think about the answer. You will make notes, and after that you will just speak for 2 minutes about your answers.
No, as it's my first day on this
Okay.
webinar,
Mhm.
so
Okay, I can
I
explain you.
can go with it.
Sorry.
Yeah, can you please let me know
Yeah. I
properly?
will. So there are three parts in speaking. In first part, the examiner asks you like 6 questions, 5 to 6 questions, and examiner usually asks this question for like 4 minutes. So part one is usually 4 to 5 minutes long. In part two, examiner gives you a cue card. On this card, a question is written. Okay, then you will get 1 minute to just think about the question, write your ideas, the examples, or anything that you're gonna say in your test. So just write down everything. So once you do that, after a minute, examiner will stop you, and you will have to speak 2 minutes without even taking pauses, without hesitation, or without just doing anything. Just speak for 2 minutes. For And the next part is part three. Examiner will ask you 5 to 6 questions. It is similar to part one, but here the questions get trickier. The questions are difficult, and you have to answer them in a way that they are longer than in part one. So let's say if you give an answer in part one that lasts only 25 to 30 seconds, the part three answers should last like 45 to 50 seconds. So
Okay.
that's all.
Yeah.
What we
Okay.
did
Let's
first
do.
was part one. Now I'm going to ask you a question related to part two.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So first I will say the question out loud. Do you have a pen and page right now? Or maybe a mobile where you can type your notes?
Yeah, I'm trying to have notes on the Zoom.
Okay, no worries. So do use the Zoom and write your notes. The question is, describe a time you were embarrassed. Did you understand the question?
Describing a time where I was
Describe a time you were embarrassed.
I was embarrassed.
Okay, so there are some bullet points. You should say when it was, who you were with,
Where it
what
was,
happened. Yeah.
with who,
When it was, who you were with, what happened, and how you coped afterwards. Have you written the question?
yeah. The last part was how I
Yeah,
coped
it
it.
was how you coped afterwards.
Okay.
So if you have written the question, I will give you 1 minute to just make notes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, I have
start
just written it.
writing the notes. Your 1 minute
Thank
has
you.
started.
Okay.
Your time's up.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, start.
Well, as per the question that describing a time when I was embarrassed, about a month ago when I was in Karachi on my vacations, and I was with my friend. He's a friend of mine, a come colleague of mine of my profession. So we were at a residential hotel where we were to book our room or reserve our room reservation for a day or three, 2 or 3, but the hotel manager denied our plea, and he simply ignored us, and he was due to our budget limitations. That's why my friend started fighting with him and bullying him. I feel very embarrassed. I was ashamed due to the behavior of my friends. Very arrogantly he responded to that manager. Then I tried to calm down him and let him understand that this is not the way. We have to resolve this dispute and this sort of we should not have to stuck in this issue. We have to try and solve it positively. Then I tried to mitigate and mediate the manager also. We were then after a few minutes of discussion and dialogue, I was quite getting the room reservation in our own prices. Hopefully, my time is come to an end.
Okay. Okay. So you spoke for 1 minute and 34 seconds, which is very good
Okay,
because you tried this for the first time. Well done.
thank
So
you.
when you will be doing this in the actual exam and
Okay,
you haven't completed 2 minutes, the
okay,
examiner will ask you a follow-up question. So if
okay.
this thing happens to anybody, it means that person couldn't spoke for 2 minutes. It's okay if you couldn't spoke for 2 minutes. Try to give the answer of
Sorry,
follow-up
I
question
didn't
in a
get
better way.
you.
Okay,
What did
let
you
me
say
say it
that?
again. Let me say it again.
Yeah.
If this thing happens in the real exam, you if you are let's say you're in the real exam right now, okay, and you didn't
Yeah.
speak for 2 minutes. You spoke for 1 minute and 34 seconds, right?
Okay, my time was to speak for 2 minutes.
Yeah, you had to speak for 2 minutes.
Okay. I thought that
Mm.
you mentioned that you have to speak for 1 minute. That's why.
No. 1 minute is only for notes preparation. So
Okay.
once you prepare your notes, you will have to speak for 2 minutes.
Okay, pardon for my side.
No worries.
I
So
misunderstood
I'm just,
it.
yeah. If that
Okay.
happens in the real exam and you don't complete 2 minutes, the examiner will ask you a follow-up question.
Okay.
That is
To
related to part 2 in order to
okay.
complete 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You get what
Got
I'm
you.
saying? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. The next thing was your pronunciation was clear. I could understand what you were trying to say. There was a beginning of the story, and in the middle, you said something important, and there was something in the end, which is a real
Mhm.
flow of story. Whenever you describe a story, there should be something in the beginning, something in the middle, the main part, and something in the end, like the conclusion or reflection. So that was
Yeah.
good. But
Thank
there were some mistakes that you made,
you. Like
and
what?
I will explain you what are those. So once you said, I feel very embarrassed, where you had to say, I felt very embarrassed because you were stating something that happened in the past, right?
True.
Okay. So, and there was a moment when you said, very arrogantly, he responded. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here you had to say, he responded very arrogantly.
Okay. Sentence correction.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, one positive thing was that you were correcting yourself. Examiner loves this, if because examiner knows that you're stressed out, you're nervous in the real exam, and when you make mistakes and you correct them, then it gives a good impression. Keep
True.
doing it. Okay, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
the end of part 2, and I have
Okay.
given you the feedback. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's four
Grateful.
o'clock already. No worries, no worries. Ma'am Javeria, please end the meeting. It's already 4 o'clock.
Thank you.
No worries, no worries.